Welcome back. First we'll dive into valuation chart to see what the market is really pricing in, and then we'll break down the biggest risks and the most realistic upside catalysts. Now let's focus purely on valuation using this EPS-based fair value chart, and we'll look at past, present, and future, because graphic packaging is a business where the market often swings between stable cash compounder and cyclical packaging headache. Starting with the past, for many years GPK looked like a steady operator. Consumer staples exposure, long customer relationships, and predictable demand for paperboard packaging. That's why the stock historically traded around a normal multiple, and during strong periods it even traded above it. The past success was simple. When volumes were stable and margins expanded, earnings compounded and fair value marched higher. But the past mistake investors made was assuming packaging is always defensive. It's not. Packaging still has cyclical sensitivity to food service traffic, beverage demand, and overall consumer spending. And when costs rise or pricing weakens, EPS can compress quickly. In those moments, the stock doesn't just follow earnings down, it often gets a multiple derating too. Now the present. Why the stock is under pressure today. The market has been reacting to weaker profitability and a reset in expectations. In GPK's full year 2025 results, net sales declined to about $8.6 billion from $8.8 billion, and net income fell to about $444 million from $658 million. Management also laid out 2026 guidance that implies a prove-it year, including adjusted EPS guidance of roughly 75 cents to $1.15. So the stock price action makes sense. The market doesn't want to pay a premium multiple until it sees clearer earnings momentum. The other major factor is the capital cycle. The company's big Waco investment is substantially complete, and they're now stepping down capex while targeting $700 to $800 million of adjusted free cash flow in 2026, and prioritizing debt paydown. That's important because it can stabilize the balance sheet and improve equity value even if revenue growth is only modest. Now the future, the estimate zone on the right. This is where valuation becomes a bet on two things. 1. Whether volumes stabilize and pricing holds, and 2. Whether the lower capex period converts into real free cash flow and deleveraging. If management delivers on the FCF target and earnings recover even modestly, the fair value line rises and the stock can re-rate toward the normal value range. But if demand stays soft and competition forces pricing pressure, the market may keep GPK trapped at a low multiple. GPK today is priced like a business in transition, not broken but not trusted yet. The upside is a cash flow and deleveraging story. The downside is that the earnings reset lasts longer than the market expects. Let's go straight into the risks for graphic packaging, because while this looks like a defensive packaging business, the reality is that earnings can still swing when volumes, pricing, and costs move against you. The biggest risk in 2026 is volume pressure. If consumer demand stays soft, or if major customers continue destocking, shipments can remain below normal. And in packaging, a small volume decline can have an outsized profit impact because the cost base is relatively fixed. Mills and converting plants need high utilization to protect margins. Closely connected is pricing risk. Many contracts reset over time, and in a weaker demand environment customers push harder on price. If pricing power normalizes, or if competition forces concessions, earnings can get pressured even if revenue looks stable on the surface. Another major risk is input cost volatility, especially paperboard, recycled fiber, and energy. If costs rise while pricing weakens, margins compress quickly. Packaging isn't immune to commodity cycles, and the timing mismatch between cost changes and contract pricing can create ugly quarters. Execution risk is also key. GPK has been investing heavily in capacity and productivity, including the Waco project. The risk is that ramp-up takes longer, there's more downtime than expected, or savings don't flow through at the pace management targets. When you're relying on efficiency gains, execution matters. Competition is another watch item. If the industry has excess capacity, it can turn into a price fight. And even if GPK is a strong operator, industry pricing discipline can break down when demand is weak. On the financial side, leverage and cash flow delivery matter. The bull case often depends on capex stepping down and free cash flow improving. If FCF conversion disappoints, whether from working capital, ramp costs, or weaker earnings, the balance sheet de-risks more slowly than expected. Finally, there's customer concentration risk. Large CPG and beverage customers have meaningful bargaining power, and losing a major contract or facing aggressive renegotiation can hit both volume and pricing. GPK's risks in 2026 are mainly about utilization and pricing. If volumes stay weak while costs remain volatile, margins can compress, and the market will keep the stock in a prove-it valuation zone. Now let's flip to the opportunity side for graphic packaging, because the upside case here is less about a sudden growth burst and more about cash flow inflection plus structural packaging tailwinds. In the short term, the biggest opportunity is the Waco ramp and the capex roll-off. When a major project is finishing, you get a double benefit. Startup costs fade and capital spending steps down. If execution is solid, that can create an earnings and free cash flow inflection even if revenue growth is modest. And in the market, free cash flow is what changes the narrative from investment phase to cash generator. Second is deleveraging. If capex declines and working capital normalizes, GPK can generate meaningfully higher free cash flow and use it to pay down debt. For a company that's been under pressure on profitability, that matters, because lower leverage reduces risk, supports valuation, and increases flexibility for future shareholder returns. Another short-term lever is cost and productivity improvements. Packaging is a scale business. Mill efficiency, yield, downtime, logistics, and procurement all matter. If GPK continues to drive operational improvements, margin can improve without needing a strong demand environment. That's important because it gives upside that's not purely macro-dependent. You also have upside from input cost relief. If energy and fiber costs stabilize or fall, and pricing doesn't fully give back those benefits, gross margin can lift. In packaging, the timing mismatch can hurt, but when it turns favorable, it can help quickly. And finally, there's the possibility of channel restocking. If customers have been conservative with inventories, any normalization can provide a volume tailwind, which matters a lot when fixed cost absorption improves. Now longer term, the biggest structural opportunity is plastic to paper substitution. Regulation, retailer sustainability goals, and consumer preferences are steadily pushing packaging toward paper-based solutions. Graphic packaging is positioned right in that trend, especially in food service and beverage categories where paperboard can replace certain plastics. Long-term upside also comes from scale economics and automation. If the company keeps modernizing its footprint and simplifying SKUs, margins can structurally improve over the next cycle. And if the industry rationalizes, meaning weaker competitors exit or capacity becomes more disciplined, pricing stability improves and profitability becomes less volatile. Finally, if free cash flow compounds, GPK gains capital allocation optionality, buybacks, debt reduction, and selective bolt-on M&A to strengthen the portfolio. The upside framework for GPK is: finish the heavy investment phase, convert earnings into stronger free cash flow, de-risk the balance sheet, and ride the long-term shift toward paper-based packaging while operational efficiency drives margin improvement. Now let's look at the analyst rating, because it's a fast read on current sentiment. For graphic packaging, the breakdown is 0 strong buys, 2 buys, 8 holds, 1 sell, and 0 strong sells. So the street is mostly neutral, with a small bullish camp and a small bearish camp. The hold-heavy majority tells you analysts generally see GPK as fairly valued right now, or they want clearer proof that earnings are turning. The market is watching whether volumes stabilize, whether pricing holds up, and, most importantly, whether the company can deliver on the free cash flow inflection as capex steps down. The 2 buys reflect the upside case. If the Waco ramp improves profitability and free cash flow accelerates, the stock can re-rate as the story shifts from investment phase to cash generator. The 1 sell is the reminder of the downside risks, usually tied to weak volumes, competitive pricing pressure, and the possibility that margin recovery takes longer than expected. So the takeaway is, GPK is viewed as a prove-it transition story. To shift sentiment higher, the company likely needs consistent margin improvement and visible free cash flow delivery over the next few quarters. If this breakdown helped you, please hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your support really helps me make more of these analysis videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.